It's Friday evening, and we have a Patreon listener question. Once again, if you are interested in being part of the Transformers Slag Patreon, be sure to check the description below and join us on the Patreon. You could join us on the listener questions. You could join us on our amazing Discord. You could get all kinds of benefits, maybe even a little special something in the mail. So be sure to join us on our Patreon. We have a Patreon listener question here from TheGreySkull, longtime Patreon member. And they ask, this is probably one of the toughest questions I've ever been asked. I got a thinker for you, Proto Man. Monkey's Paw. You could pick one character, any character, not one that makes sense, but a personal choice to be made into a masterpiece by Takara Tomy. It would be perfect. The catch? The character has to never have a toy ever again afterwards. Never appears in fiction or a cartoon, even a comic. It is that character's last appearance in the Transformers brand. To give an example, if you also take a version like Armada Megatron and make it a masterpiece, there'd be no more Megatron toys after that ever again. Who would you pick? Personally, I would take Energon Scorponok. Now that the Titan class has come out, I feel that character has peaked, and there's nowhere to go from there, so might as well go out with a bang with his Energon version that I personally loved back in the day. Can't wait to hear your answer, TheGreySkull. Man, when I was trying to figure out this answer after I read this, I must have spent a good 20 minutes trying to figure it out. Because I mean, for people that don't know, the monkey paw term, we'll start with that. That means you get your wish, but there's a catch. And to me, it's just if I get my wish for a certain masterpiece, it kind of is the end of the road for that character, which would suck. Because to give an example, I would love to see a masterpiece, and when he says ones that don't make sense, meaning there's, I've always had what I want and then what makes sense. I've said that a lot of times on the podcast. And what makes sense is more from a business standpoint, and then there's what I want, which not always good for business. So I'm going to give the ones that are just personal opinions. I would love to have a masterpiece Nitro Convoy from Galaxy Force, the male version of Override. Masterpiece, perfect. But then that would put the end to that character forever, and I'd never see it appear ever again in future fiction, and that would suck. Not to mention, or a Generations version, or, something like that. I mean, I'm so happy that we got Nitro, the third-party one, because that's probably as close as I'm ever going to get with that character. I hope I'm wrong, but same thing with Road King from Master Force. Love that character. Love that character. Would love to see a masterpiece, but also would hate for that character to just never have anything ever again. And then, when you fall into Beast Wars, it's the same thing. I'd love a Beast Wars, Scorponok, or a Beast Wars Pterosaur, but then you never have those characters ever again. And then, even I said, let's go big. Let's go the biggest masterpiece it could be. What if they did a masterpiece Primus? That'd be amazing. But then we'd never have that character ever again. It's a tough one. I couldn't come with an answer. It's just, I kept going, oh, maybe that. And then going, no, I'd want that more in the future. Oh, maybe, Victory Leo to go with Star Saber so he could finally have his big armor. But then we'd never have Victory Leo ever again, which would be cool to be a character to revisit. And then I just kept going back and forth. Can we count Brave stuff? Because, if that never gets revisited again, it's not like Hasbro or Takara was going to do that. But then it's I don't think you could count Brave. It was, I honestly, GreySkull, I couldn't come with an answer because there's so many great characters in Transformers that if I wanted a masterpiece, I'm just cutting it off completely and just destroying it. I was okay, maybe Vector Prime. But then it's yeah, one day you're going to want to talk about the original 13. How do you leave out Vector Prime? There was just so many different versions of characters, too, where it's oh, I'd love to get a version of that character. But then the name association just cuts off everything. Like you mentioned, Armada Megatron. If you do a masterpiece Armada Megatron, it'd be incredible, but you just destroy every Megatron ever. I don't know. Some people might actually like that. They might actually like the fact that we might never get a Megatron ever again. Might actually, foster some originality from a fictional standpoint. But at the same time, it's but never again? Never a piece of fiction? Never a piece of merchandise? I can't come with an answer. I really can't. I really, really, really can't. And I don't know. I think at this point, I'm more curious what the listeners have to say about this one, because I can't really come up with something. Like even me going like, oh, maybe you finally get that Masterpiece Alpha Trion, but then you never get Alpha Trion again, you know, or Nightbird, or like there's just even the obscure ones that probably won't get a Masterpiece for a very long time. They still have so much to contribute from a fictional standpoint through their equity of history within the brand. So that's a tough one. That is a really, really, really tough one. And I don't know. I spent so much time just staring at my displays, just going like, there's got to be like some like, you know, gem that I'm forgetting. But then if I like it so much to make it a masterpiece, and I'm just looking around the room now, it's like, if I want it to be a masterpiece, I really like that character, and I'd like, you know, like Dino King. I'd love to see more of Dino King. Or like, I don't know. It's a real tough one. That is a really tough one to do because of what the consequence would be afterwards. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm sorry that I can't give an answer, but it really is one that stumps me in a lot of ways, because maybe 5-10 years down the line, you know, there might be a character that'll come around and I'll be like, okay, cool. It's like, you know, I don't want to say like, oh yeah, give me a Masterpiece Beast Machine's Night Scream so we never see that character ever again. But it's like, why would I want a Beast Machine's Night Scream? Like, what a waste. You know, what a waste for that one fan that really wanted a perfect Night Scream or something, because he never really had a good toy ever. And it wouldn't even be to scale with your own Beast Machine's toy, so it would also make no sense. I don't know. It's like there's so many great animated characters that if they had the Masterpiece version, but then you would just totally cut off the entire history of those characters moving forward. Like, oh, you know, Masterpiece Sentinel Prime, and then you could never have a Sentinel Prime again. He can never be brought up in fiction again. Any Sentinel Prime, not just the animated one. So it's a tough one. It's a real tough one, that answer. It's you got me there, DheGreySkull. You got me there. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this one. There's got to be something. Obviously, this is going to be more of a personal question for everyone, so there is no right answer. But I am really curious what some people would go with. Maybe some people are just going to say any Bumblebee, just so there's no more Bumblebees. But yeah, so my answer is I have no answer. That's a really, really tough one. I am stumped. So thanks again, DheGreySkull. And once again, if you're interested and being part of the Transformer Slag Patreon, just be sure to check the description below and come join the party that's happening in the Discord. And speaking of party, this weekend, as of this recording, would have been TFCon weekend in Toronto. And because that we don't really have anything going on this weekend because of what's going on in the world and TFCon not happening this weekend because of its original planned date, we're going to be doing two things. Number one, one of the regulars at TFCon, Goober, he's going to be doing a whole bunch of online panels and stuff with Ninjatron, so also be an art panel. So if you're interested in getting in on that, I'll post in Twitter. I believe it's going to be on Sunday is his panel. So if you're interested in getting on that, when we have the link for the stream, I will post it on Twitter and you'll be able to join in on that online panel. And I will also, much like I always do at the YouTube live stream hangouts, I will be doing a hangout / kind of panel. I'll do a financial panel on Saturday evening, either 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be sure to just keep an eye out on my Twitter for that. That's usually where I post the link also for people that are part of the Discord. The link will be posted there. And, of course, the Transformer Slag Facebook page, the link will be posted there too. So just a little bit of a warning that stuff is going to be happening this weekend. So if you want to get in on that, hopefully I will then, if you miss it, you will also be able to see it when I upload it afterwards on the channel. It's been kind of hit or miss with the YouTube channel when it comes to uploading the streams. When you're talking 3 hours of content, sometimes YouTube, really looks it over deeply, and some stuff sometimes doesn't get approved for being uploaded. I know that we talked about some touchy stuff in terms of what's going on with the big V in the world, and YouTube was just kind of like, nope, can't talk about that. and they pulled it. So needless to say, there will be something this Saturday. We will have a live stream, and we're all gonna have a good time and hang out, answer some questions, talk about Transformers and finance and everything like that. And once again, be sure to join the Patreon if you want to support the podcast and join us in this fun, crazy time.